want you to work with the sheriff. I want the sheriff to work with you. I want our citizens to be served. That's what I want. I want our deputies to not be afraid. I want the best deputies possibly come here. Talk about Lou Goldman, and I feel comfortable using his name. We now know that what happened to Mr. Goldman should never have happened. That the initial investigation was fraught with errors. The initial investigation left very little to go back and look at. And so Sheriff Ayers did another investigation, interviewed a lot of people, recorded the interviews, and from my very amateurish position here, it looked pretty solid to me. The man was harmed. He lost his job, he lost his livelihood, he lost his retirement for something that we now know didn't happen.
Keep saying we now know. We don't know. That's not what
Wait a
we
minute.
know.
Okay, Mr. Carver, what do we not know? Do you believe that Mr. Goldman was guilty of what he was accused of in that original Brady letter?
Of course he was. Of course he was.
You
Just because the news runs some like hit piece article, that doesn't supplant a legal review. That doesn't. A legal review was done by Nelson County, and they deemed no action should be taken based on this poor investigation. Saying we now know. We now know. How do you know it if you just acknowledge you don't know?
I do also listen to the testimony of the people who were there. I trust Mr. Sam Bryan implicitly. Trust all the people that were interviewed. But sometimes mistakes are made.
I agree.
They're made in my line of work. They've got to be made in your line of work.
Of course.
And in this case, I believe, okay, that Mr. Goldman was harmed. But you said that you can't get rid of the Brady letter. You can't make it go away. You don't think you have enough evidence to get rid of the Brady letter against Mr. Goldman?
No, because the legal review said no. But yes, I'm holding a random Brady letter in my hand. I can tear up this letter and never present it again. And if I'm right in tearing up whichever letter I'm holding, which is just randomly grabbed, but if I'm right in tearing this one up, fine. Nothing ever comes of it because I was right. If I'm wrong, I've concealed evidence, I've violated a defendant's constitutional rights, I'm probably going to lose my law license, and whatever case that I've done that on is going to be dismissed. Victims will not get justice, the defendant goes free. Yes, so I can tear up this letter, and if I'm wrong, all of those negative things happen. I'm not going to do that.
Their side heard.
Yes, as long as it's consistent with the Constitution, absolutely. But we probably should have prosecutors in the room to help make sure that happens. We probably should have the judiciary in the room to help make sure that happens. We probably should have defense attorneys in the room. We probably should have law enforcement. A lot of people in the smart people, much smarter people than me in the room to make sure this goes right.
So in early fall, Sheriff Ayers sent you a letter describing the deficiencies in the original investigation against Mr. Goldman. Responded to his letter yet?
No.
Is there a reason why you've not responded to the sheriff?
It was reviewed by Nelson County, and so there was nothing left to respond to.
Our sheriff sends our Commonwealth's attorney a letter, and you send it somewhere else, and you just don't think it's worth responding to?
No.
Okay then, thank you.